Hey guys, welcome back. We got a 2008 Ford E350 Super XLT, whatever the hell it is. Don't really care. It's a 5.4. Truck came in. It's a construction guy that's around here. We fixed his other E-Series van about 6 months ago, and I guess he liked our work, so he came back with another one that they just purchased about 3 months ago. This thing has 45,000 miles on the clock. Check engine light came on, and he asked me to look at it. I went over and picked it up for him at his lot, and immediately when I started it, I could feel the misfire in this truck. So he says it's lacking power, it's not running right. First thing I did is scan test it, obviously. I didn't turn the camera on for that, forgive me. Multiple codes for misfires, PO316, which is a misfire within the first 1,000 revolutions of startup. It's got a PO301, PO308, which are misfires for the cylinders 1 and 8, obviously, and then it has a PO300, which is random misfire. So the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to go in with my Bosch and go into data, and I'll show you guys what we've got right here. And if you can see that, this is a power balance test. The scanners, most decent scanners are capable of performing, and I just wanted to see where we're at. And we can obviously see a misfire on cylinder 8, and see the 1 as well. It doesn't look too good. So my next step here is I'm going to get a wiring diagram. I'm going to shut this thing off, and I'm going to exit out of here. Let's see if I can get you guys set up where you can actually see what I'm doing. Alright, I'm back. Glad that the phone rang because I forgot to turn the mic on this thing, so the first part of this audio is probably garbage. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to go into power distribution on this thing. There we go. Yeah, this touchscreen crap is not my friend. Okay, so I do not care about this. Control module. That's for diesel as well. Don't care about that. I want to make sure there's nothing else on the circuit. So it's fuse number 8, which is the one I'm looking for. And that is going to go to here. As you can see, and I'm gonna have to change this battery now because that's dying. This is alright. I'm having technical difficulties, guys. I'm trying to do this guy for you, and things are not going as planned. Alright, let's try again. I was having trouble here with this touchscreen responding. And it's probably my hands or whatever, I don't know, or whatever. Any case, fuse number 8, 15 amp, that is what feeds my ignition coils to this E350. And what I want to do is I want to look at two things. I want to look at my current, because on these Fords, the nice thing is that if you go in and you loop a current clamp around here, you're able to see the current on all 8 coils at the same time, okay? And then I'm going to use another channel on my scope, and I'm going to sync to a cylinder so I know the firing order and what I'm looking at, okay? Very simple technique. The way that I'm actually doing this is, I don't know if I could get you a shot, I'll try. Let me see if I can show you my setup, because I know guys are always asking how did you set it up, so let's see. Right there, you can see the fuse loop plugged in, and the fuse goes into the fuse loop, and then my current clamp is around the loop, okay? My other channel, which is the red lead right here, is going down and under. I'm not going to be able to get you a good shot, but that is going to the primary for the number 1 ignition coil. Now it's you're going to have your feed side. That's where the current clamp is. The trigger, or the part, the wire coming from the computer to the coil to trigger it, okay, that's the side that I'm on with my other channel. All right, now I'm looking at primary voltage, so let me go a little further here. and show you our setup. On the scope module, we have our current clamp hooked up on channel 1, it's blue. And on channel 2, we have our 10-to-1 attenuator, because if you do not use that, you will damage the scope. And I'm gonna let it run a second, let the idle come down, and I'm just gonna have to hold the camera, which is gonna be fun. I'll separate these guys a little bit so you can see. This is my primary, and this is my current ramp, okay? And this is a multi-strike ignition system, so you're going to see more than one strike on idle, mostly 3 most of the time on these. So, just collecting a little bit of data. I can actually raise this up a little bit, and I can even go tighter on here to get more on the screen. I'm just going to collect a couple of seconds of data here. I'm going to pause the scope. I'm going to shut off the truck so I don't do any more damage than they've already done to the cats on here. And I'm going to just pick, this is number 1. I'm going to zoom in and take a look at that current ramp. And that is a pretty looking ramp right there, okay? That looks good. We're going to scroll to the next one, which is fine. I'm going to keep going. Wait a minute. Okay, that one right here does not look pretty. That is a bad ignition coil, guys. That is a bad ignition coil. Let me see if I can get another one on the screen at the same time. I can compare. If you look closely on this, right in this area, you can see the turn on of the coil. When I scroll over to the other guy in the same area, you'll notice a straight up line. That is a shorted coil. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to determine what cylinder it is that we're looking at right here. So for that we need the firing order. So let's see what that is. Okay. And guys, I just realized something. I'm a little discombobulated today, I'm sorry. I misspoke before when I said my sync is on number 1. This is a Ford, guys. That's actually cylinder 5 that I'm on. So let's go take a look, right? I'm synced on cylinder 5. So let's take a look here. I did need the firing order. I didn't know that off the top of my head on this truck. But if we look at I actually printed it out for ease here. 13726548, right? 548. Okay, and number 8 cylinder is the one that's showing a shorted ignition coil on this car. All right, so the damn camera shut off. Try this again. You guys can see now that our misfires are pretty nice and stable. Truck is nice and smooth. You're gonna get those glitches as you hit the throttle and go on diesel. You just want to kind of keep a smooth, steady RPM. Obviously, we're going to have our current codes that are still stored right here. And, you know, this is all the stuff that we had before that I didn't get a chance to actually show you. This is what was in the history of the vehicle. And well, it was actually active at the time. Now, I do not have any misfires on any of these cylinders. So this is why scan data and what do you call? Yeah, all right, come on. I just wanted to back out. Come on. This is why scan data and scope testing is important, because you don't want to just go by what codes you have, because you would be changing things you don't need to change. and you would be throwing money in the garbage. So this thing having a misfire, an actual misfire on one cylinder, was causing random misfire codes, as well as, you know, seeing misfires possibly on other cylinders. So the power balance tests led us to one thing. We saw cylinder 8 was the one that was really missing, and it was showing a little on one, which it's not anymore. So always check. I know. And we're gonna go in one more time on, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back into power balance. Continue. I put it in gear. It's nice and smooth. And I want to bring the RPM up. Now I don't care about those little spikes. I just want to watch this as I'm holding it steady as possible. Okay, I'm only at about 1200 RPM, and I just want to kind of watch it. See, nice and steady. There are no misfires. So just keep that in mind if you're doing testing like this, that when you change RPM on here, it sees changes. It's going to change cylinder speed on the crankshaft. It's going to show up as misfires. So you want a steady RPM, and under a load, so you can stress the coils, is always a better option than just sitting at idle. Okay. Just little things that you pick up along the way, you know what I mean, little tips and tricks. So hopefully it helps somebody if you're using a power balance test and are not familiar. I've been working on these systems a long time. Always verify the cylinder that's misfiring. If I can give you any kind of tip, it's always verify the cylinder that's misfiring. Always. Do not take for granted that the codes that you have are the problem cylinders. Do everything you can to check, and your diagnostics will be better. You'll be more accurate all the time. So you'll change less parts. You'll fix what has to be fixed, and that'll be that. He's going to pick this up. I know this guy for a while now. Like I said, he's been here. He's going to drive it, and we're going to go from there. But there are no other issues. I'm actually going to show you. I've captured the, well, let me just do it again, because I probably had the scope running the whole time. I'll just let it idle a second, let it idle down. I got the scope running. I'm just going to stop it, shut this off. Try not to trip over the cables. I'm actually going to take this off, shut off my amp clamp. I don't need that anymore. Pull this godforsaken key out of the ignition before it drives me nuts. And we're going to go back over. We're going to take a quick look here, okay? All right, so before I was rudely interrupted by a waste of time, I'm back in here, and I'm going to show you again. We are synced on number 5. I got it right this time. Okay, this is our sync. This is our multi-strike ignition. We're going to scroll over. This is 4, and then we're at our problem cylinder, or what was our problem cylinder was number 8. And as you can see now, compared to our other coil, you can see now the clean oscillations and a clean ramp, not a straight up shorted coil. Okay, so this thing is fixed, and what we're going to do is we're going to put this doghouse back together, and we're going to send him on the road.